Welcome to the Focused and Fearless podcast, the show designed to explore how you can step into powerful self-leadership and stop settling for less in your life, business, health, and wealth. I'm your host, Heather Angel, and as a certified energy practitioner, coach, and online business consultant with over a decade of experience, you can expect expansive, honest, and enlightening conversations about what it really takes to create the changes in your life and business that right now may just feel completely out of reach. Thank you for choosing to invest in yourself by listening to this episode. Without further ado, let's dive in. Hey gorgeous, I hope your week has started well. Now, before we dive into the topic today, which is deadlines and accountability, I need to share a couple of things with you. First is something I forgot to mention in the sort of intro episode to the podcast when I relaunched it a couple of weeks ago. I swear quite a lot. Now, this is just something, I don't do it intentionally, and there's not going to be effing and jeffing all over the place in this podcast. However, when I relaunched the podcast, I promised myself that this was going to be unfiltered. And I do not want to be sat here recording, second guessing the language I'm using. I don't want the guests that I bring on second guessing anything they're saying. I want it to be raw, unfiltered, honest. So I'm just letting you know, if swearing of any sort offends you, if you don't like it, this may not be the podcast for you. Because even though I'm not going to be swearing in every episode, if I get passionate about a subject, especially in the solo episodes, that they're going to be your red flags. Those are the ones where I'm going to be going to topics that I'm really passionate about, that I really want to share a message around. And that's when the occasional F-bomb may get dropped. So I'm just giving you a heads up. It's now your choice to do what you will with that information. The other thing is, I want to let you know that I have created a workshop. It's going to be delivered live on the 18th of May. You can find it all over my socials and in the show notes as well. And it is all about helping you move beyond your money blocks. I see so much talk online about money mindset, money blocks. And although all the information is great, really useful, there's a whole other layer about money mindset and money blocks and what you think they are and how they work and all that stuff. And there's so much energetics behind it. There's so much conditioning behind it. And I want to help you, for those of you that are listening to this who have already done some money mindset work, but are maybe still feeling like something's holding you back, or you're a bit frustrated with the results or lack of from the amount of self-development work you've done around money. This is for you. This is going to dive a lot deeper. We are going to be peeling back a lot more layers so you can really understand and use the information I give you in your future so that you can actually stop any scarcity or lack behavioral patterns before they start, which, quite frankly, given the economic times we are living in at the moment and what I foresee happening in the next few months, especially here in the UK, we need to make sure our money mindset is in check. Because as a business owner, if you go into lack and scarcity mode and then try and go into a launch or try and make sales or try and make a promotion, and you're doing so from an energetics of, I need the money, I don't have enough money, well, we know where that's going to get you. It's going to be stressful as hell for a start, and your audience are going to pick up on it. And I only want abundant success for you. Whatever success looks like for you, that's what I want for you. I want you to have everything you want, everything you desire. So that workshop is happening on the 18th of May. All the details are in the show notes. It's across all my social media, Heather Angel Coaching. So go and check that out if you want to join me on the 18th of May for a little bit of a deeper dive into all the energetics of money. So with that being said, let's dive into the topic of your deadlines and accountability. Now, this is going to be a really short discussion, but I hope really valuable for you. I, as an entrepreneur, and you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, however you identify, it's really difficult, or I find it really difficult to set strict deadlines, because let's face it, all we need to do is go, I'll move it. It's not really a deadline. We make up these dates. We put arbitrary dates of, I'm going to get this done in 90 days. And if we don't get it done, who's going to tell us off? Who's going to take us in for a meeting and go, you haven't done your job? Nobody. Now, I think many of us in so many ways are actually harsher than a normal boss, if you like, because we are very self-critical and we are very driven and we want to achieve these things. But deadlines can be something that we struggle with. It's something that I've seen my clients struggle with. It's something I have definitely struggled with in the past. And the reason I realise this still shows up for me as a pattern is because I've been given a very hard deadline. I've been told I need further eye surgery, and that is happening on the 24th of May. There's no getting around this. This is happening. So I have now had to look at all the plans I had for my company and go, right, I need to make sure that all the things I had planned for June are done before the 24th of May. So all of a sudden I've compact 2 months worth of work into 1 month. And I'm recording this at the end of April, ready to go out at the beginning of May. And honestly, I don't feel like my feet have touched the ground. I have not been able to prioritize all the things I would normally prioritize, like the gym, like cooking from scratch every day. I'm recording, I'm always honest and transparent on this podcast. I have literally just picked up my kids. I've told them to be silent for the next 10 minutes so that I can record this episode for you, because I'm chasing my tail a little bit because I have a hard deadline. But the funny thing is, I am loving life right now. Loving it because I have properly got a rocket up me right now. I'm just like, right, I have got to get these things done. It is non-negotiable. If that means me working a bit later some nights, then that's what I'll be doing. If it means sacrificing spending an evening with my friends or my boyfriend, that's what I'm going to do, because I have got very, very clear vision for my business and my company. I've got a very clear vision for my life, and I have got certain things that need to happen over the next couple of months to make sure that I'm on track with those desires, those goals, those dreams. And I'll be damned if a bloody operation is going to get in my way. So that is the power of a hard deadline. And so what I invite you to look at is, where do you have hard deadlines in your business? Do you set goals and be like, right, I'm going to achieve this in this many days, and then everything just kind of falls away and you get to the end of that 90 days or that month or 2 week sprint, however you work, and kind of go, oh, I didn't do that. Now, I'm not saying this to shame you or anything. I've done this so many times. I'm like, damn it, I didn't do that, or I prioritized this, or I procrastinated, or whatever's happened. But this is where self-accountability comes in. Now, accountability from a coach, a mentor, a friend, someone who's truly going to keep you accountable, not just go, oh, babe, don't worry that you didn't do it. You must have been a little bit tired or whatever. Get it done next week. I'm talking about like true accountability, actually calling you out on your stuff, because if you say, oh, yeah, I didn't do it last week, or I just ended up going out on Friday afternoon and doing coffee and blah, 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 even though I said I really wanted to get this, web page built or whatever. Someone who's going to hold you truly accountable is going to pick you up on that. It's not to berate you or shame you, but they're going to ask, really, why? Dig a bit deeper. Why haven't you done that? What was the reason? Why did you prioritize going for coffee over getting the sales page created for your new offer? Because now the sales page isn't created, you can't promote your offer yet. So how can you be your own accountability buddy? Because ultimately, it doesn't matter to your coach whether you do your sales page or not. It doesn't matter to your friend if you do a sales page or not. Of course, I would hope that your coach and your friend care about you and want only the best for you, but it's not going to affect their business. It's not going to affect their life. You are the only person you are truly accountable to. And that is, it's a harsh truth that I learned probably, I would say last year, when I really, you've probably heard it a million times, but it really landed for me last year. And I was like, yeah. And it's still something I have to be very aware of practicing, because if we are going to take radical responsibility for our results in our business, if we are going to take radical responsibility and be true leaders of our own lives, have real self-leadership skills, and create a business, a company, a life, whatever it is that you are working towards, if we're going to create that, we've got to hold ourselves accountable to the things that we say we're going to do, because it is on us and us alone. Okay, some of you may have a team, but you are still the leader of that team. Some of you may be just starting out in business. You are the leader of that business, which means you have to be a leader of yourself, which means that you and only you can keep you accountable to the things you say you're going to do. Okay, so how can you do that? It's entirely up to you. I invite you to look at how you can do that. Maybe you want to actually every day do a bit of a check-in system with yourself. And this isn't about beating yourself up, okay? And it's also about becoming more aware of what you can achieve in the time you have. You know, I'm a single mum. I have very limited hours. I have said it so many times that my happiest, best life would be when I could just work solidly. I love working. It's my happy place. And honestly, when my kids go and spend the weekend with their dad, usually the thing I'm most excited about is like, oh my God, on Monday morning, I can get up and just go to work. I don't have to make them breakfast. I don't have to do any mum stuff. I can just get up early. I can start working early. This is incredible. That's what I would love to do. My reality is I have school hours, okay? Which basically means that every few months I have very limited time because of holidays and school breaks and all this kind of stuff. I have school hours. So what hours do you have? Okay, let's, take it away from the sort of woo-woo stuff, like reality. How many hours do you have? How much work can you actually get done in your 3, 4, 8, 10 hours a day, whatever you've got? Be aware of that. If you are someone who's listening to this going, God, yeah, I'm actually really bad at sticking to what I say I'm going to do. It could be because you are unfocused. They could, it could be a whole other discussion about your working environment. Maybe you need to, switch your phone off, stop getting distracted. That's definitely been one of mine. I just turn my phone off during the day and only check it at certain times. Otherwise, I'm on that thing all day. But, have a look. Each day, an exercise for you that might help. Each day, look at what you said you were going to do. So your list of tasks, or maybe the top one priority thing you were going to do. Did you get it done? If you didn't, why didn't you? And don't do this from oh my God, I'm so bad, and, bashing yourself over the head because you haven't done what you said you'd done. Just go into it with a view of curiosity. Go, okay, let's be a little bit of a scientist here. Why didn't I do what I said I would do? What did I get distracted with? Did you spend time hanging out the washing, doing the washing up and cleaning the kitchen when actually what you said you would do is build a sales page? Okay, look at the way you're spending your time. And when you are more aware, and you might want to do this for a couple of weeks, and when you are more aware of actually what you can achieve in the time you have, when you really sit down and focus on the work you want to do, you become far more accountable to yourself because you know what is possible for you. And also, when it comes to setting those deadlines, they're more realistic. Realistic isn't a word I like to use very often because I'm like, oh, anything's possible, la da 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 da. And it is. However, from a long-term, something you can sustain for a long time, what is your work pattern? What can you achieve? When you know this, you can set deadlines that are actually achievable rather than being in that cycle of setting a goal, saying you'll do it in 90 days, and actually 90 days isn't enough. And then that goal kind of goes out the window, and then you feel really rubbish because you haven't achieved it, and yada, yada, yada. The cycle repeats itself. Deadlines and accountability are important, and they really help. I cannot even begin to tell you how much work I have done, how much I have achieved in literally 7 days. Since I knew I had to have this operation, I was like, woohoo, I better get some work done because I got 2 months work to do in 4 weeks. Because I'll be damned if an external thing like an operation is going to stop me achieving what I want to achieve. And this, I don't like using the word should, but in fact, I'm not going to. So I invite you to take on that perspective. You have goals, you have dreams, you have people you want to help, you have a big vision for your life. Only you can keep yourself accountable to that. Only you are going to be the one that drives that success to get that result. So keep yourself accountable. I invite you to look at what you do in the day, take note of it, be aware, and be aware of where you're self-sabotaging as well. Okay, once you have this level of awareness, everything starts with awareness. Once you have that level of awareness, you can then work differently. You can make changes. You can look at your behaviors. You can look at your habits. You can make those small tweaks which make a huge difference. I'm just going to reel off a handful of things before we end this episode that have really, really helped me stay super focused, stick to my deadlines, create deadlines that are actually realistic, and hold myself responsible and accountable. So first thing, switch that bloody phone off, okay? Put it on Do Not Disturb, get rid of it. I check my emails really early in the morning because then I don't have to check them in my quote unquote work day. Check them really early, I check them right at the end of the day, and then that's it. Otherwise, I get sucked into a vortex of emails. Get off social media. Do what you need to do. Do not scroll. Losers scroll. Successful entrepreneurs, successful business owners are not sat there scrolling through Instagram. Get the chuff off your social media. Also, set your boundaries. Okay? Those requests for, hey, would you like to go for coffee? If you can and you want to, and there's capacity in your diary, go for it. Brilliant. Love it. Especially now that we're coming out of these COVID times and we're able to meet up, do it. If, however, your diary is stacked, do not be a people pleaser. Say no and book it in for when it works for you, when it suits you. Also, understand that there are phases. Balance, I do not believe you can have balance in its truest form if you are a business owner and you have a family or any kind of life, quite frankly. There are going to be times, more often than not in the first few years of running a business, where you have to go all in with your business. And there are going to be times, I've had to do it frequently, where, not had to do it, I've chosen to do it frequently, where I've got up early, I've done the work, taken the kids to school, I've come back, I've worked, picked the kids up, done their dinner, done everything I need to do for them, got them to bed, gone back to work. Okay? Sometimes you've got to put in the effort. Sometimes you have got to go that extra mile, and it's not about burnout. I still make sure I do my self-care. I still make sure I take very good care of myself, eat well, exercise, all that good stuff. But sometimes we have to put the majority of our effort into our business if we are going to hit those deadlines, if we are going to create the results that we want to create. Okay? So those things have just really, really helped. And if you want an accountability buddy, great, find one, but make sure you're finding one that's actually going to challenge you a little bit. If you turn around and say, no, I didn't do this, okay? Not beat you up about it, but just kind of go, okay, what was the reason for that? And sometimes it just takes that other person to show that mirror to you to kind of go, you just couldn't be asked that day, could you? Or, you just use that as an excuse because actually putting out that new offer is a little bit scary. And that's when you get to dive into all the juicy stuff of why you're self-sabotaging, or why you're not reaching your deadlines, or why you're, deciding to do the washing up rather than putting out your new offer. That's the juicy stuff. So those are the tangible things. Just wanted to share that with you. Deadlines are important. Set them, work towards them, keep yourself accountable. So if you do want any further help with diving into the layers of why you might not be keeping to your deadlines, into the layers of why you're not keeping yourself accountable, I have a freebie. It's called Moving Beyond Mindset. It's available everywhere on my socials and in the show notes. It's completely free, and it will help you get clear on what you want, get clear on the direction you're going, and then remove all those pesky limitations that are lingering around that are causing you to self-sabotage. Right then, gorgeous. I will see you next week when, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for you to listen to next week's interview. It is with Dr. Matthew Gibson, and we are going to be diving into the topic of shame. It's a good one. I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining me today, and remember, any resources and links mentioned in this episode can be found in the show notes. If you're enjoying this podcast, I would be so grateful if you would kindly share, subscribe, and leave a positive review so that the podcast can help and reach as many people as possible. Thank you again for listening. Have a gorgeous day, and I'll see you in the next episode.